Well, hey, y'all, welcome to the Common Good Podcast, Tuesday, 21st of October. Rob, you know what the 21st of October is?
What is the 21st of October, Doug?
Well, it's today. But it's also Wesley Puck's birthday.
Ah,
And when you're a grandpa and you get to
6 years old now?
6, yeah, great memory.
Nice.
6-year-old little guy. We got to go to birthday breakfast today, which is a thing we do in the Paget Garrett household. So little cute boy, 6 years old. And man, he's been waiting for 6.
Yeah.
And maybe I mentioned because he's cute and he's 6, he counts days, not by won't say how many days is it until something. He says, how many sleeps? 5 more sleeps, 7 more sleeps. And I'm like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good way to count. How many more sleeps?
Yep.
Until ultimately until you don't have any more sleeps, but we won't get so real here.
So birthday breakfast, did you take him late to school? Did he miss out a little bit of school?
Yeah. 20 minutes after the start of school. He's a kindergartner, so
Yeah. It's
okay.
critical time he's missing.
But he gets a crown on his head because it's his birthday, and just all the cute stuff.
What do you order at the place that y'all go? Pancakes?
Well, 6-year-olds and 60-year-olds are much the same. If you see a picture on the menu that looks tasty, you point at it and you say, I want that. So he saw a big waffle with berries and whipped cream. He was like, oh yeah, nice. I'm getting the berry waffle.
Excellent.
The berry waffle this morning. Yeah, so great start to a day. And you know what's sweet? Unlike your children, who've been aware of these things since they were small children, that Donald Trump has been ravaging the American psyche. I don't think Wesley Puck has any clue. He saw a picture of Donald Trump on something, my phone or some picture, and said, what is that? No clue.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, no clue at all. And boy, that felt good. Felt good.
Yes.
Because, some of us need to know about these things, and we need to worry about these things, and we need to work hard to change these things. 6-year-olds, 6-year-olds do not.
Yeah, I was born in 1975, right before Jimmy Carter's presidency began.
Okay.
I have no memory of it. I was alive. I was alive for the entirety of Jimmy Carter's presidency. I don't know.
Did you even remember Reagan's early days? I mean, or did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were 5 or 6 then when Reagan gets elected. Second term when you were 10, 11, or?
Yeah, I remember Reagan getting shot. That was in 81, right?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I mean, we loved Ronald Reagan in our house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so had Wesley Puck been born during Barack Obama's presidency, he would have known by now who Barack Obama is.
Yeah.
He didn't know who Joe Biden was at all because he was 4 or 5.
We're
keeping. I think his mom is, but we are certainly
at least
keeping
2 of us. Two of them don't know who Joe Biden is. I'm just over here cracking dementia jokes that I probably shouldn't crack.
No, that's great. Yeah, dementia and child jokes. Yeah. Hey, and you're dressed up today, Rob. You got you got your Jim Jordan on, your shirt sleeved, you got your collar open, you got your tie loosened up. That's
right.
You got a
almost
martini
wore a
in your
yellow
hand.
tie, just like Jim Jordan, jacketless Jim Jordan. I got some stuff. I've got some stuff to do, and got to do it. So.
Yeah. Because now that you're running for Congress, it can't be all T-shirts and hoodies all day.
Unless I'm running
Fetterman.
for U.S.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Pennsylvania.
Unless you're Fetterman.
That guy's just no, I'm just going to wear what I want.
Yeah. And look, I'm not going to pick on the guy for what he wants because I want that same fashion comfort.
Yeah. For the first time in about 9 years, I went to the store and bought a suit.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I used to work.
And this time it wasn't JCPenney. This time.
So I used to work a job as a salesperson, an account executive at a local television station where I sold TV commercials. And I was required to wear a suit and tie every single day
of work.
Oh, just no. They required Saturdays and Sundays too.
Hey, just send a
Yeah,
quick snapshot. You got the
yeah,
suit
that's
on.
right.
You're ready to go in case you get a.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
going to
It
answer
was
an
a
email on behalf of the company, I want you wearing.
yeah. It was a reminder. It reminded me of Bible college when I had to wear a suit and tie every day. When I
Your
was a
Bible
student.
college required suit and tie.
Yeah. Yep. Every single day. Except Fridays. We didn't have to wear a tie on Fridays.
Friday fun day.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We're really loosening things up. So, when I got this job, I bought some suits because I needed some new suits,
Okay.
and I haven't really been suit shopping since. And I wore those suits every day, and they're not as not as fresh and sharp as they used to be, and there's more of me in the world than there used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So
Uh,
went up a size and went to Dillard's last
Oh.
Sunday with my wife, and first suit I put on, that was the one she liked best.
Did you
First
try
one I
others
tried.
as well? And then you
Yeah.
came
Oh
back
yeah.
to your first
Yeah.
love?
Very
Okay.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's being tailored, and I should be able to pick it up today. So it's very exciting.
What is it? Dark charcoal
Oh yeah.
stripes?
Yeah. It's a blue. It's a dark blue with a little black pattern in it. And,
Hey.
you know.
Hey, Rob, when you're sworn in
Mhm.
as a newly elected congressperson in January of 2027,
Yeah.
will you wear that suit, or you think you're going to
Probably.
pick up a new one?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Are you going to be
Not
like,
sure.
this is the suit that got me
actually-
here? I'm going to dance in the one that
Yeah.
I bought?
I'm not sure. I was asked this question the other day that I found really interesting. I had never thought of. It was, when I'm sworn in, will I take the oath of office with my hand on the Constitution rather than
the
a
Bible?
religious text?
I would.
I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I was in a pickle when I ran for the state house. I was in a real pickle because I had been a very outspoken person about an opinion that I have. I still hold it, which is, as an average, ordinary person, and especially as a person with a religious commitment to the common good of all people everywhere, with no special preference to anyone or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Love of God, love of neighbor has to match love of self and love of enemy. Those four just go together. I can't pledge my allegiance to anything that's not that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, when you become a representative, for me it would have been the state legislature here in Minnesota, you have to take an oath. And I had to really work out how I was taking an oath that I, in performance of that set of responsibilities, would commit myself to my allegiance to the United States of America, but not necessarily to do that in the in every area of my life. And I found that to be quite curious. Do you have a thought about that? Are you someone who is comfortable now saying the Pledge of Allegiance or any of the rest of it?
I totally understand where you're coming from. But I also have this sense that we, in the incarnational world in which we live, like, we encounter all sorts of different requirements on ourselves in our humanity to, be loyal, to have allegiance to things. And I think a divine being who loves us, like, is not going to be upset with someone who pledges their allegiance to the flag.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
I'm not concerned about the Lord God's opinion of my pledge.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about my own.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think, because look, at some point, one's allegiance ought to be to something more than a flag or even a constitution for your life. I think for your politics and for your professional life and for your work in that world, yes, your allegiance needs to be purely there. But your sports allegiance don't. Like your ultimate heart commitment could be to a football club in England. You just can't be committed to the King of England as a politician.
Totally.
Because I don't think Americans are required to take the Pledge of Allegiance. Like I would have absolutely no expectation, and I think it's quite problematic that children are conscripted into saying pledges of allegiance as children. First of all, children have no capacity to pledge an allegiance. That's adult behavior, not child behavior. And American citizens are not required to pledge their allegiance to the United States, to be an American, or to love America, or to just live here.
Not yet, anyways.
Not yet, anyways. But a person who's going to do a certain job, if someone's sworn in as a police officer, they're pledging to certain kind of behavior. Yeah, it's very occupationally and service driven.
Listen, it is not terribly different from like signing the employee handbook at a job
or a user agreement at a social platform.
Yeah, the terms and conditions. Yeah.
Or having to say things at church before communion so you can have a wafer and a sip.
That's right. Speaking of pledging your allegiance, Doug, and the King of England, did you attend a No Kings rally this weekend?
I did know Kings it. Yep, I know Kings in West Virginia, Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, small town.
What were you doing in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia?
Berkeley Springs, West Virginia is a place about an hour and a half drive from Washington, D.C., but full on West Virginia. I mean, Mountain Mama took me home. Those country roads.
Did you find the mirror of the RV that I knocked off in West Virginia?
That was out on the interstate. I was back in the back hills in Berkeley Springs.
You're back in the holler.
We were showing a screening of the We the People Ride documentary. We're in the final stages of fundraising for that so we can get it into festivals. And so the good people there put it in a movie theater, and we had a screening following the No Kings rally that happened right across the street at the courthouse. The town of Berkeley Springs boasts a population of 750. The official count of the No Kings rally was 485.
Wow.
Now, truth be told, some of those people drove in from Romney, West Virginia, or from 20 miles out. So, the larger area.
Some of them drove in from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
One flew in, paid, a paid agitator flew in.
Right.
And so that's where I spent my time. In fact, I've got a good story about all that. Where did you attend, or did you?
Yeah, I attended two protests, more kind of side of the road, holding signs than like rallies or marches. And one in Rogers, Arkansas, and one in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We had thunderstorms.
Okay.
And so the Rogers event, which had thousands of people, organizers, once the lightning started, wanted to, encourage people to disband and head home. And so, when I left that, I went and got my hair cut, and then went to the event in Fayetteville. And by that point, it was torrential downpour.
Oh, wow.
So much so that the University of Arkansas delayed by 2 hours the start of the football game.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how bad. That's how bad the weather was.
Wow.
And there were hundreds of people out in the midst of this weather.
Wow.
And which was really great. Now, I was soaked to the bone. Literally, my underwear was wet. And, I was just like, oh, man.
From outside
But
in.
it really showed that, like, hey, there is there's a lot of concern. And frankly, with the behavior of the president of the United States, the vice president of the United States, the press secretary to the president of the United States, and a host of other people over
Yes.
the last several days, there's good reason to be concerned. There's
Yes,
good
there
reason
is.
to be concerned.
Yes, there is. Well, Rob, I had an experience there that is not uncommon to what an experience I know many people have had. There were so I don't know. There's small little town, small street by the courthouse. People lined up on both sides.
Yeah.
Signs. No speakers. No music.
Yeah.
Just standing about with each other in a shared action. 4 people standing over on the side, folks roughly my age, maybe a little older, looked kind of classic West Virginia ruffian. One guy had a great old kind of handlebar mustache.
Nice.
And the place right around his mouth was tinted a yellow that was different than the rest of the mustache from the nicotine. That sort of cat. Yeah. Another guy, kind of big and gruff. Both the men had guns on their hips, on their holsters, outside the clothing, so people would see them. And their wives were with them. So the 4 of them were standing there, and they had Trump hats on of some variety. So as I like to do, I saunter up, and I'm like, "Hey, how's this going for you all? How's this feel? This your town? You live here?" They're like, "Wow, we're just watching all these fools out here, standing out here." I said, "Yeah, I know, I hear you. I could see you feeling that way." But it's just good to see Americans exercising their rights. And they said, which none of this, you could fill in the blanks of what they said next on most of these. Most listeners probably could. Oh, yeah, these so-called Americans, they're not real Americans.
Oh.
And so we chatted a little bit.
Wow.
I said, yeah, the thing I love about America most is law and order. And so here we go, right? And so it went down all the usual paths. Me asking, how do you feel about people being swept up in ICE raids that are American citizens and being detained for a day or longer and not having the rights and all this? Do you feel like that's how it should go? And that's not happening. Show me the names. I show them names. Where did you get that? I say I use Chat GPT to search. Chat GPT, and just won't believe anything that that they
got to use GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Or, no, not GoDaddy. No. What is it? DuckDuckGo.
Oh.
That's the search engine that
they trust.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ironic. So all this conversation centering around all the distrust. What about January 6th when Biden's FBI, all the stuff Trump said, like just full on repeating Trumpism, right? And when I finally said to them, look, especially to one person, just to be clear, on January 6th, 2021, who was the president? She wouldn't answer the question. I said, well, Donald Trump was the president. Finally, after a little bit of this, another man says, well, he was a lame duck president at that point. That's true. And I'm like, there's no such thing as a lame duck president. Like that's a political insult. Like he's the fully sworn president. And they're like, no, it was Biden's FBI that infiltrated all the Trump stuff, right?
Wow.
And then the thing they came back to more and more was those people are not Americans. And then truthfully, so many conversations with people at the No Kings rally, very similar sentiments. Lots of conversations about things
troubling.
that I couldn't get along with, about, Trump's not really even the president because the election was rigged and they stole the election from this these places up in Pennsylvania where I used to live, and I know they did, and here's what they did, and here's how they got into the voting machines, all the stuff that, to me, me, I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm out on
You're like,
the,
yeah, but do you know how much mercury there is in fish?
yeah, I'm
It's
like,
not a
no,
safe fish to eat on planet
no,
Earth.
no, there are facts, and then there are nots. And it's
That's
just,
really,
it was,
yeah.
and the thing that struck me, and then I've had a number of conversations with other people over the last number of days, and really over the last few weeks, trying to say, like, look, America is a multitude. America is a many. Out of many, we become one nation. And that many, they are America too. I watched this silly debate between a person on the right and a person on the left as to which of the other side they thought was the most violent. The left is violent in America, says a right-winger. The right is violent, says the left-winger, sharing facts of how many violent activities. But the truth is, America is violent. America is politically violent. We have this phrase we like to use, I like to use, invoke common good, that we don't slice the prosciutto so thin that we can separate our religious identity from our religious counterparts who are supporting Trump. So we're going to do everything we can to join in to change our religious community. Because separating yourself at that level is just inaccurate to a point of being harmful. And frankly, the fact that we find it so easy to do precisely what Donald Trump demands his followers do, which is to divide up the country into real America and not real America. And so there's this tendency that is so strong because of the troll-in-chief's continuous advocacy of this, and is picked up strongly by a lot of people who agree with the way I do politically, that the real Americans are us. Because I hear this all the time with Christians, and they're like, "Well, somebody said at the film that we showed, like, hey, you need to tell those Christians that they're not real Christians. Like, they are real Christians. There's just many kinds of Christians, and their kind, I think, is more harmful to the common good than other kinds. And I want them to switch and become the other kind. But they're Christians, and there's a way to be American. And America is all of this." And so I don't know, Rob. I just feel like we are now at this precipice, and I don't think I'm making a big deal out of nothing. And I'm certainly not trying to be Obama 04, right? Like, no red America, no blue America, just the United States of America. I think it's something which he may have been intending too, but it's a click deeper than that. It's like the only thing that makes America America are the 350 to 380 million people that make up this population. That's us. And when 49% of them or 35% of them are violent, well, then we're a violent nation, and we can say the way we solve violence, political violence, is to work on the places where it's coming from. And then you could have an argument, is it coming more from the right or coming more from the left? But unless we agree that we have to get working on what it is to be American and not just what it is to be a party, I think we're frankly leaving out a whole lot of people and just telling a story that plays into the troll in chief. And we'll talk about lots of examples of Donald Trump's absolutely despicable, horrible behavior. But that was my No Kings takeaway, was once again standing on the side of a street in a small town, having people point across the street at the other people and say, they're not us. There's no we here. There's us and them. And that is just sheer trouble.
Yeah. I think part of it is that there is this deep sense that if the other side wins an election, that will be the end of the nation. And that feeds into this idea of we're trying to save the country while they are destroying the country. We're trying to save what it means to be America while they're allowing America to be undermined, destroyed, and so I think that kind of tension about the future of the idea of America
Mm-hmm.
feeds into the identity then where like, okay, so if I'm
Mm-hmm.
fighting for what I believe America
Yeah.
is and you're trying to destroy it, then I'm American and you're not. And it's once you pull back what the issues are, it's shockingly similar,
Mm-hmm.
the rhetoric.
It's
And
it's scary.
and not just the rhetoric, but the beliefs undergirding the rhetoric about what's at stake, and then what that leads to in terms of how we relate to one another.
Yeah. Look, America self-harms.
Mm.
So because we self-harm, we can point out the times and the places where people in our society, in our culture, in our country, our fellow citizens, our fellow Americans do things that harm this nation. And sometimes we do things that beautify this nation. And they're all America. So let's fix these things because we're Americans, not just because we're opposed to those people. But I'll tell you this, Donald Trump is a particular problem. He is extraordinarily problematic to the United States of America because one of the things we have said we were going to use by practice and by edict in the United States in our governmental civic structure was that the presidency would be above the other kinds of political partisanship. Mm-hmm. Our structure said we have to have political partisanship. That's why we have party systems. Didn't have to, but we do. But the president was supposed to not have to play by that rule. So Congress would play by one set of rules, the presidency by another, the judiciary by a third. And so they're politically different. Donald Trump's use of the presidency in a way that no other president has ever used it as something to be nothing but sheer, unadulterated party power over the other. And I know a lot of Republicans who say, well, that's what Biden did and that's what Obama did. The fever dream that those people are describing, the thing they fear but never happened, Trump is doing. Like Rob, when he put out the statement, which I'm not even going to show here, we're not going to show his trolling, we're just going to talk about it. When he put out the statement about why he pardoned a convicted criminal in George Santos, mm-hmm. and then said he did the same thing that this other congressman did, not going to deal with that lack of factual basis at all. But he concluded with, but at least Santos had the good sense to vote Republican, so I'm going to commute a sentence. He said it right in his public statement. The reason he's getting commuted is not because what he did didn't deserve the crime, but because he's one of us and voted Republican, so he gets a pass. Doesn't even care anymore. It's not a dog whistle. It is clear English language for everyone to hear. It is nothing but trolling people for the sheer division. Standing at the funeral of his friend who was assassinated, Charlie Kirk's funeral, Donald Trump said Charlie Kirk wanted to, help people and save people, even his enemies. He wanted the best for them. He wanted to convert them over to our side. I don't want that. I hate my enemies. Like it just doesn't matter. And what he is doing is so harmful to America because we have invested something in the presidency, which now is diminished to a point that I'm not sure. Like I agree with you 100%. We're not going to have a country that we recognize if this person is elected president. I don't know that always holds up as factual rather than motivational. We will not have a presidency we recognize has clearly taken place. And the degree to which the presidency of the United States is important to America is seemingly undebatable to me. I mean, It
Yeah.
is it is one of the things that we have held to. We're a nation that loves our values, and we also really sort of love our structure.
Hmm.
And we have a presidency, and watching him literally physically tear down parts of the White House complex so that he can build a ballroom, while he's simultaneously tearing down what it means to be the occupant of that White House.
Yeah.
Those two couldn't be more appropriately timed.
Yes. And the trolling that I think the most significant trolling, or the thing maybe we want to talk about is, you know, his trolling of No Kings gatherers. Um,
Yes.
he the president of the United States, if those of you didn't see it, posted on his social media an AI generated video, as if there's some AI generated videos where you go, wait a minute, is that real or is
That's
that
right.
AI?
That's
This
right.
is one that
That's
you're
right.
not gonna
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
obviously
The
AI.
animals on the playground could fool you for a little while until the
Yeah,
hippopotamus is on the tilt-a-wheel.
yeah. So it's AI video of the president of the United States in a plane, a fighter jet, wearing a crown as a king would, and flying over Americans exercising their rights to assemble and peaceably protest and address their grievances to their government, long held, cherished values. And the video depicts the president of the United States deploying um, some thick brown liquid.
Yeah.
Could it
Meant
be
to represent
mud?
human feces, one might,
Yeah, I
or
mean,
mud.
it could be mud, or it's human feces.
He should
Um,
clarify. He should clarify, though,
yeah.
if the AI video he chose to post that
Is that
depicts
mud?
him, is that mud or is that human feces or is it something else? Because we just love a little clarity here.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
might be
when you're having
chocolate
to
pudding.
ask the president of the
Might
United States
might
in the
be.
fan fiction video you posted, where you're dropping something from a fighter jet as a king onto American citizens, what are you dropping?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it could be chocolate pudding for all we know. I mean, kind of runny chocolate pudding, but still.
I do like
Uh,
chocolate pudding, I'll tell you.
Me too. Oh, I like a good chocolate pudding. Yeah. I mean, Doug, can you?
Uh,
There's no words for this.
no.
There's no
And look, if
this. This is the most juvenile,
yes, yes,
petty, inappropriate. Like, like, do you have no honor?
yes,
Do you have no respect? Do you have no care at all?
yes,
Clearly you don't.
yes,
I mean, and we knew this. This is just the late. This is the same guy that,
yeah,
in the wall of presidents, replaced the picture of Joe Biden with a picture of an auto pen, in the White House. This is a guy
yes,
who is tacky in every way.
yes. And the fact that he can't separate sort of what's a jokey, trolly kind of comment
Yes.
that people on
Yeah.
the internet should do from his role as the sitting president of these United States.
Yes. Doug, we started this podcast with a conversation about taking oaths and how that plays into that thing of okay, I recognize that I am a person with
Yep.
feelings, with beliefs, with values, but when I occupy a particular role, I am expected to behave a certain way.
Yes.
And when I was a salesperson at the local television station selling TV commercials to small businesses around Northwest Arkansas, I had to wear a suit and tie.
That's right.
Not because I'm a suit and tie guy.
That's right.
Not because if given my own choice, would I wear a suit and tie every day? No.
Clearly not.
I might wear one on a random Tuesday, but
You
no, no. But in your professional office, in your
Yes.
professional position, there are certain expectations that you behave a certain way.
And you literally didn't take an oath of that job. You just signed an employment contract.
Yeah.
Donald Trump signed an employment contract and made an oath.
His complete inability to have any kind of decorum.
Yes.
To use any opportunity, and it's like, well, and if you complain about it, it's like, he's just,
Yeah.
This is, Doug, I'm old enough to remember what Republicans said about Bill Clinton. And I'm old enough to remember to talk about Bill Clinton degrading the office of the presidency.
Returning honor to the White House was George Bush's campaign in 2000.
And quite frankly, yeah, I don't want my president sitting at the Resolute desk on the phone with Yasser Arafat with an intern, under the desk.
Yes.
Sexually gratifying him.
Yes. Yeah. Boy, when you put it like that.
That is not honorable in the Oval Office. I don't want that.
That's right.
And I don't want the President of the United States posting on his social media videos of his fantasy of
shitting on the American
all over the American people.
Yes. And fundamentally saying they are not Americans and they are not us and they are different than us. I mean, that is the entire thing. And as Jim put in the comment there a minute ago, so many of these people are still hurt that in 2015, Hillary Clinton in a private fundraiser said there's 3 baskets of Trump supporters, 2 that are honorable and 1 that's just a basket of deplorables. And that broke their hearts so bad. But there seems to be nothing that Donald Trump does that they think should offend anyone because it doesn't matter. You don't count.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the answer for all of us has to be everyone, including MAGA, count in America. It cannot be, we will decide a different group of us that count versus you that count.
Yeah. And so we might say, okay, well, this is just the president. This isn't gonna affect anything.
That's right.
No, the reality is this creates a culture, creates a standard of what is acceptable behavior.
Yeah, to work.
So we have the press secretary of the United States. Is it Carolyn?
I don't know how she pronounces her name. I don't
Carolyn
care. I should care. I care about her as a human being. I don't care about her chosen pronunciation, so I've chosen not to listen to her. I don't know that I've heard her voice, but a few times. Probably heard her voice more than I heard Kamala Harris's voice during the 4 years of the Trump Biden administration, unfortunately. But I have barely heard it. Yeah. I don't know what she sounds like. I don't know how she says her name. I barely know it. I've chosen to not have that voice also take up residency in my head, so I have to watch subtitles and stuff. Yeah.
Though Donald Trump apparently often comments about her lips, which is just weird because he's so weird, Doug. He's so weird. By the way, Harris Wall's campaign should have kept up the "they're so weird" aspect of their campaign. That was
I've changed my views on that. I think they needed to follow that up with Americans aren't weird because I think it became. I think the they got conflated.
That's
But
you're right. Yeah. So anyways, Carolyn Leavitt, press secretary for the Trump administration, shared on X, on formerly Twitter, um, a screenshot of a text conversation that she had with a Huffington Post reporter. And in this text conversation, the Huffington Post
hey,
reporter.
let's read it in dramatic style. Would you like to be the Huffington Post reporter, or would you like to be the press
Sure.
secretary of these United States of America?
Sure. Yeah. So
Who do you want to be?
I'll be the reporter.
Okay.
Is the president aware of the significance of Budapest? In 1994, Russia promised in Budapest not to invade Ukraine if it gave up nuclear weapons it inherited when the Soviet Union dissolved. Does he not see why Ukraine might object to that site? Who suggested Budapest? Thanks.
Your mom did.
Is this funny to you?
It's funny to me that you actually consider yourself a journal. You are a far left hack who nobody takes seriously, including your colleagues in the media. They just don't tell you that to your face. Stop texting me your disingenuous, biased, and bullshit questions. Thank you for your attention to this matter, the press secretary of the United States.
Now,
talk about unprofessional behavior. Like
this is not like, the Republican 30-year-old kids texting about how much they love Hitler to each other, and the group chat gets leaked somehow.
Oh, good point. Yeah, because when I saw this from you, I thought, wow, this must have really gotten to this reporter for this reporter to have shared this publicly. But as it turns out, go on, Rob.
No, Carolyn Leavitt, in her @press secretary Twitter account, is the one who shared this screenshot. For context, SV Date of the Huffington Post is not a journalist. She actually got the word right this time. Not a journal. You're not a journal.
Yes,
not a journalist. Interested in the facts. He's a left-wing hack who consistently attacked President Trump for years and constantly bombards my phone with Democratic talking points. Just take a look at SV Date's feed. It reads like an anti-Trump personal diary. Here is my full response to his inquiry. Activists who masquerade as real reporters do a disservice to the profession. She's the one who shared her completely inappropriate sophomoric response to a legitimate question from a journalist. Because what is good for the goose is good for the gander in the Trump administration.
Isn't that amazing? The press secretary of the United States says to a reporter, your mom did.
Yeah. And the question, we pull back and this is a serious question. There's going to be a thing between Russia and Ukraine and the United States, and it's going to be in Budapest. And he's saying the question is hey, wait a minute. Budapest has some history here. There's some symbolism. There's some significance to this city. And because it's in this city that Russia said that they would not invade Ukraine if they gave back the nuclear weapons. And now Russia has invaded Ukraine. So isn't it kind of a slap in the face to Ukraine to hold this meeting in Budapest? Who suggested Budapest?
Places, right. A totally reasonable question. Wow. In light of the long-term difficulty between these two nations, that particular location, did you consider it? And who suggested it? Was it Ukraine that suggested it? Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Your mom.
Your mom.
And then what I think is funny is that you're not actually a reporter. And to quote her, stop texting me your disingenuous, biased, and bullshit questions. To speak in your professional capacity. Look, Caroline Leavitt is not messaging off hours. This is a work relationship to a work phone. To say to a reporter, who apparently we can't see all the way up in the conversation between the reporter and the press secretary. There have been other interactions that have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
To use something so inane, so childish, so useless. Here's the problem. You could say that across the board about so many people. Now, I just did a quick search here, and it seems to me that Caroline Leavitt is 28 years old. I'm not sure if that's true, but I think that's true. Is this just a personal maturity issue?
Well, the president
Or
of the
is
United
this
States
something
is 50
worse?
years older than her, and he's
That's exactly my
no
point.
more mature.
That's right. Put 5 decades on her, and you've got Donald Trump, who put up a video of him dropping poop on the American population. Poop jokes.
Yeah. And can I just follow this up with, listen, hey, everybody that gets excited about Gavin Newsom and his like
Dark Gavin persona.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom posting a similar video of him dropping poop on January 6th protesters and, the insurrectionists storming the Capitol.
Did he do that after Trump's video or before?
Yeah, after. Like, yeah, that's not helping.
No.
Like,
That means let's
I
elect
think
our
it's-
own troll in chief,
Right.
rather
right.
than
I
say,
think it's
hang on a minute,
tremendously-
we're
it's
done
trem-
with this.
It's tremendously important to respond to these people with humor,
Yes.
to satirize them, to make fun of them, because that gets under their skin. It's why they came after Stephen Colbert. It's why they came after Jimmy Kimmel. Simply doing your own version of the exact thing that they did, like, I know there's Democrats out there. They're like, yeah, that's not helping. I don't think. Convince me that it's helping. Like, how is it any better? How is it any different?
Yes. And do you think different is what matters, or better is what matters? Because if you don't, and I know I get it, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
What they want is a tit for a little tat.
Mm-hmm.
What they want is an eye for an eye. What they don't want is turn another cheek and make another world. Get above this. Now, there are many Democrats who do, of course. And truthfully, there are many Republicans who do. Can you, Rob, I mean, look, I know it's hard on some Republicans, the fact that they won't say what they mean to say. For some, it's not hard at all. Rand Paul's not bothered by it. Lindsey Graham couldn't give a flying frisbee about whether he's coddling up to Trump. But there's a lot of them who, when they now have to answer for Donald Trump's video about poop dropping, come on, right?
Yep.
They're completely frustrated. People can say they're gutless, but look, there's a lot of Democrats and there's a lot of other people. I was just in a conversation with a faith leader who wanted to say some things about what he really thinks about certain political issues that I think he's really right about. And he's like, but I just can't. I can't say that because the attack that will come will just cost me too much. Like, I know the landscape. I can't break rank. People do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
so many of these Republicans, you just know that they woke up to that video and went, unbelievable. I can't, or they woke up to the story about the text messages amongst the staffers that were vile and full of racist, hateful Nazi nonsense. And these people are like, when we used to, as a party, be able to turn and say, we disavow that. Now there is no disavowing anyone who's in MAGA. No matter how Republican you are, no matter how non-political you are, you don't get to do it. And that cannot be the path for Democrats, and it cannot be the path for the resistance. The resistance to MAGA's continuation after 2026 election and 2028 has to be something of greater truth-telling. It just frankly does. Everyone seems to know it, but it seems increasingly difficult for people to do it. Yeah. And I know we think, well, they're winning. They are not winning. They won an election because of a whole lot of things that need to be solved. Now they have power. They're not winning every day. You see, unlike other jobs where a person can be terminated from their job or removed from the power of the position of that job by an employer, Donald Trump doesn't have one. He is the employer. There is no one to say to him, you must do this or your job here is in jeopardy. This is the power of the lame duck. There is nothing anymore. So he's not winning. He's just still in power. And he's going to stay in power until the 20th of January. It's really hard to say. 2029. 2029, Rob.
Oh, far
2029. If someone said to you, hey, I'd like you to chip in now, and we're going to get you a right off the factory floor model of the 2029 Ford, you'd be like, 2029? That's an impossible time away. I'm not sure I'm going to be alive in 2029. Seems so far. But Donald Trump will be in power until then, and then he won't. And our job is to be sure that the impact of his use of his power is limited as much as possible. But friends and family and fellow citizens, let's not make him more powerful than he is, and let's not make implications about what he trolls to do the same level of response as what he's actually doing. He's doing so many terrible things. But man, Rob, the number of videos that I watched and commentaries I watched worrying about what Donald Trump was going to do on Saturday at the No Kings rallies just got a whole lot of people all revved up and scared to death. Because look, we know the difference between Donald Trump not knowing what is trolling and what is leading. We have to know the difference. That's our job.
Yep.
When he says stuff to Kristen Welker like, well, I could just put in place the Insurrection Act and then I can do whatever I want. More than 50% of the presidents have done it. This nonsense he said a couple of days ago. No, 50% of the presidents haven't done it. And no, you don't have unlimited power, even if you do. The thing that would bring an end to Donald Trump's power is him using the Insurrection Act. Do you know how many libertarians will lose their minds if he decides that his political advantage is what the Insurrection Act should be used for? Oh my gosh. I mean, if he decides to use it in some way that people feel like, well, that was necessary. I don't know, like a prison riot in Alabama or I don't know, school segregation when the governor of a state has deployed the National Guard to keep federal law from being put into place. But how about, I don't like the way your police are handling policing in a city? Yeah, really? You think that's Insurrection Act capable? Of course it's not. Donald Trump will lose in court. Donald Trump will win in court. There's some things he's going to do that he's right about, and there's some things he's going to do that he has the right to do. And if we want any of that to be different, we change the laws. And you change the laws by changing the lawmakers. We don't have to be coddled, or we don't have to be cowered by this guy's ridiculous threats. They will be out of power.
Yep.
This thing is going to end. They're going to lose. And then we have to have an America that somehow, I don't know, builds back better, somehow is built on something else. I'm sure this is just a problem on Rob's end. Welcome home.
Hey.
The power to unravel this exists inside of 35 congressional districts in America.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Rob, do you happen to know how many congressional districts are there in America?
435.
435. 400 of them don't matter.
Oh, I would say more than that.
Don't matter.
Yeah, 420 of them don't matter. There's 15 competitive districts in the country.
The power is in 35 congressional districts flipping. Rob's in one of them.
Yeah.
That's where that's where the power lies right now. It's not everywhere else. I only say that because that is just the sheer brutal political reality. That's also true about so much of the stuff Donald Trump is up to and saying and doing. 400 of them are nonsense. 35 of them matter. That's just a pretty good proportion of the unbelievable nonsense. Like, does it matter that Caroline Leavitt is unprofessional? Does it matter that Donald Trump puts up stupid AI videos on his trashy little social media platform? No. Does it show the heart of these people? Absolutely. Does it matter that the Pentagon tells reporters they have to sign a pledge about what they will write about? Yeah, that matters because that's freedom of press. So separating out Caroline Leavitt being rude to a reporter from what the Pentagon is doing, this is what we live in. This is the absolute reality that we're facing. Everything doesn't matter as much as everything else.
Yeah. I'm reminded, Doug, of a statement that gets made in our training that we do with candidates who are running for office. And I remember our friend Brian McLaren, who kind of put much of the training together, making this statement so we train through our work at Vote Common Good. We train candidates who are running for office to communicate their policy positions in a way that will connect with the values held by a wide variety of people. So instead of arguing about policy, we try to make connections on a values level, because there are, with traditional conservatives, with economic conservatives, there are values that are still human American values that we share. The approach of, I'm going to take my best argument, my best thing, and pit it against your worst thing and fight that way. What Brian McLaren said in one of our trainings, and it's become a part of the trainings, is that approach may win elections, but it leaves the population ungovernable.
Mm.
And I remember that stuck with me when he said that, and I remember the first time hearing it, thinking, oh, there. I think there could be some hyperbole there.
Mm.
And then you look at where we're at, coming full circle with this idea of like Americans just completely denying the validity of other Americans' Americanness. We may be on the path to ungovernability in our current, state, and that is, again, deeply, deeply concerning. And all of this stuff, from the significant to the insignificant, all of it creates the culture in which there's distrust.
Yep.
There is alienation. There's distance between people. It's us versus them. And if we become ungovernable, that, in our current system, then is a new system required, i.e., a strong arm, strong man, fascist.
Yeah. Does authoritarianism have to be the only option? Yeah. Look, and what has to happen is we need a political movement by which even gerrymandering is rendered useless. Mm. You can have all the gerrymandering in the world if you're convincing people across political bias to join you. It doesn't matter how the structure's set.
Yep.
One of the struggles we have in current American politics is we've stopped believing in persuasion. We have stopped believing that people can be brought over. We've stopped believing that there's the chance to reach out and win someone. Democrats have spent far too much time only on turnout model. Look, turnout model is the political approach to gerrymandered political districts. Persuasion is the alternative. If you're watching this, if you listen to this, our job is persuade. Now, not everyone. The key thing to persuasion is you're not persuading everybody, and you're certainly not persuading people who don't want to be persuaded. That's not persuasion.
Yeah, it's not winning arguments.
That's right.
That's not persuasion. Yeah.
Persuasion, on the other hand, is helping people who are open to having change take place to join you. Every Democratic candidate, whether they're in a safe district, whether they're in one that they will for sure win, for sure lose, or it's up for grabs, has a moral responsibility to contribute to swinging people away from MAGA and into Democratic leans. Now, look, the thing we all have to do is help a lot of people understand you can be a Republican and not be MAGA. You can be a Republican or an independent or, it's hard for me to even say it, a libertarian. You can even be...
Those of you who might not know this, if Doug were to make a list of the people who are like most American to, if Americanism is a spectrum, and we're not saying that anybody's not American who is an American, but in the spectrum that is American, in the least American for Doug would be the libertarian.
Not least American, just least understandable political philosophy. Just the least
credible approach.
Yes,
to
least credible approach.
Political philosophy
to being, it probably goes full anarchist and then libertarians. But our job is to help people from whatever political persuasion to recognize that they have a choice that doesn't include MAGA. If we do that everywhere in the country or in 35 or 50 congressional districts, and we, the people of America, defy the power of gerrymandering. Look, gerrymandering can work based on race and previous voting patterns. Because what they're doing is saying we know where people live and how they voted in the past or how we think they're going to vote, and race is one of those indicators, how we think they're going to vote, and then we're going to put more of those people into this district or less of those people. That's what gerrymandering is. That only works if the American people continue to play according to script. It's going to sound super cheesy. We have the power to disempower gerrymandering.
Yes, this is the argument I make about corporate PAC money given to candidates. Listen, I want a constitutional amendment that changes Citizens United and alters that. But we don't have to wait for the law to change to not have leaders who accept corporate PAC money. All
Yes.
it takes is for us as Americans not to vote for anybody who takes corporate PAC money.
Yes.
And if we do that, we have this ability to vote for what we want. And if enough of us do that, we get what we want.
Yep. Look, and fill in the blank about what your thing is. If it's corporate PAC money, then you say don't vote for people who take corporate PAC money. Just help the American people to say that's something that we won't do. If it is supporting MAGA movements, then let that be that. Mm-hmm. If it's Christian nationalism and all the rest that's being held up, which now MAGA is fully bought into, well, then the answer is let's not support that. I know it's easy to think that the powers and the systems and the structures and the media are out there and they're settled and they're telling people what to do. There's, of the 70 million people, 75 million people that voted for Donald Trump in the last election, 70 million people in the election before that, 72 million, 62 million people that voted for Donald Trump in the election before that. That's way more people than watch Fox News, friends. Mm-hmm. Fox News doesn't have 70 million watchers. They don't. They don't. But every one of those 70 million people has a friend or a family member who thinks differently about politics than they do. That's our best bet. You are. Look, I mean, I'm in these conversations with friends and family too. I get it. Not all of them, all of the time. But as Rob gets the privilege to say during so many of our events, I'll steal the line now. You can say to them, we're not asking you to stop being a Republican or start being a Democrat. We're asking you to vote for this candidate in this election for this outcome. Donald Trump needs to be restrained. The restraint is the House of Representatives and the Senate. Will you join us in restraining Donald Trump? That doesn't make you a Democrat. The reason they're working so hard to demonize everybody and to put this bad stink on top of the No Kings rallies is because they don't want those people becoming attractive to folks who voted for Trump. That's what they ought to do. Because that's all they've got to do. That's all that's available to them. That's what's available. And look, I'm glad there were 7 million people, but I have this bad habit of using my calculator. And sometimes if the numbers get real big, Google or ChatGPT. 7 million people is a lot. But you're probably going to know what I'm going to say next. Not in a country of 350 million.
Yep.
And not in a country of 150 million voters. 2 to 4%, depending on which number you want to work on. Then 98% of Americans were not out on the streets on Saturday. Our job is to get 98% of Americans to understand what that was about. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, here's the good news. It's like being it's like the sales meeting for a new business in town. Hey, here's the good news. There's a lot of hot prospects out there for our business. None of them are with us right now. So let's go. We've got them all to choose from. Let's go get them. So there's a whole lot of people who didn't know what it was, didn't know what it is. It's a lot. It's big for politics. And I know that because you're watching this, and the two of us are, one in an attic and one in a basement, talking for an hour and 10 minutes already, just today about this. We care. Most people don't. They don't know, and they don't know to care. That you can literally do something about. Help them along and ask them to join you in stopping this nonsense. To use the civic opportunity of your vote as an act of power. It doesn't have to be your personal identity. It doesn't have to reflect. I know for a lot of active voters, voting becomes an identity issue. For non-voters, it's not an identity issue. It's a tool. I would strongly encourage you to talk to non-voters. Like if you think, because you could have heard me say here that persuasion is primarily for getting people who already vote differently than you to change. That's the golden ticket right there, friends, because that's a 2-point swing. That's big when that happens with somebody. Somebody who voted for Republicans and now isn't going to, and they vote for a Democrat. That takes one away and adds one. But you can also just take one away by getting some people to just not vote for Republicans. And you can also pick up one by getting people who currently are not engaged to engage. Gerrymandering is an enormous problem which needs to be solved. And friends, if it didn't benefit both political parties, it would have been solved long ago. It does. It has.
Yeah.
We weren't very funny today.
No.
I have a cold and a headache.
Yeah.
Did I sound like I had a lot of cold today? I had to stop a couple times and cough.
Yeah.
I'm all clogged up.
And I'm wearing a tie. I can't be funny when I'm wearing a tie. So.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I got a stuffed up head. You've got a stuffy outfit. We're real stuffy.
Yeah.
We're real stuffy today. Well, look, we're getting a little bit more focused here in all of our stuff because it's October 21st.
Yep.
And come January, it is already 2026.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the world will be, there's not a lot of things that a collective of people, regular, non-powered people inside of a system can do to make great impact.
Mm-hmm.
A big march on the ballot box in 2026.
Yep.
But everyone I'm hearing, Rob, is really downgrading the level to which they think there's like what the magic number of flip is. Kind of scares me.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. We done?
As I say, we have a lot of work to do.
Oh boy. Yeah, but it's throwing in a little bad news from Japan. Eugene just saying yes. Eugenia just saying yes. You're right. We'll take that and keep that a permanent.
Yeah,
one.
but saying Labor Department issued a warning about the nation's food supply. Yeah, but it's just good news. Yabbits today.
Oh, I wonder what the nation's food supply warning is. That there's not going to be enough because of the tariffs. Look, I know a lot of us want to keep pounding on the Epstein files, and we should, but also we should just continue to remind people how terrible these tariffs are.
Yeah.
They've cost the American people have moved so much money from their bank accounts into the federal government because of these tariffs. It's the largest tax increase in American history.
Yep.
Should be talking about it like that.
Yep.
The largest tax hike. Hey, and we didn't even talk about the fact that sadly, heartbrokenly, you were right about last week talking about the mirage of a peace deal between Israel and Gaza. Prisoner swap,
Yep.
yes. Hostilities starting back up.
Yep. Yep.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you though.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We're leaving you on a
Just
high
hanging
note.
up.